Imagine trying to stand on a planet where the ground beneath your feet is just a swirling mass of gas. That's Saturn, a world unlike any other in our solar system. Saturn, known for its stunning rings, is a gas giant, the second largest planet in our solar system and a marvel of celestial mechanics. Saturn stands out in our solar system as a gas giant, a type of planet vastly different from the rocky worlds like Earth and Mars. Unlike these terrestrial planets which have solid surfaces you can walk on, gas giants are made up mostly of gases. They're huge, with a composition that's less dense and more fluid. Now let's focus on what Saturn is actually made of. This colossal planet is primarily a mix of hydrogen and helium. It's a fascinating blend that means Saturn doesn't have a true surface like we do on Earth. If you were to try and land on Saturn, there wouldn't be any land to land on. Just a thick, dense atmosphere that gets more and more compressed the deeper you go. Saturn is so light for its size that it would actually float if you could find a bathtub big enough for it. That's right, despite being many times larger than Earth, Saturn's overall density is less than that of water. This gives us a glimpse into how unique and different Saturn's composition is compared to the rocky, dense planets closer to the Sun. Moving from Saturn's composition to its atmosphere, we find another layer of its intriguing nature. Saturn's atmosphere isn't just a thin layer of air like we have on Earth, it's incredibly thick and deep. In fact, if you could travel through it, you'd be going through layers of gases for thousands of kilometers. This immense depth plays a crucial role in the planet's weather patterns. Speaking of weather, Saturn takes things to an extreme level. The planet is home to some of the most intense weather in the solar system. It experiences massive wind speeds that far exceed anything we've ever seen on Earth. But that's not all. Saturn is also known for its colossal storms, including the famous hexagon storm at its North Pole, a storm so large that it could comfortably engulf two Earths side by side. To put it into perspective, imagine storms on Earth that last for a few days or weeks. On Saturn, they can rage for years, sometimes even decades. This enduring weather phenomenon showcases the sheer power and mystery of Saturn's atmosphere. It's a stark reminder of how different and dynamic the conditions are on this gas giant compared to our home planet. As we explore further, Saturn's gravity comes into play. It's actually quite similar to Earth's despite the planet being much larger. This means if you could stand on Saturn, which you can't due to its lack of a solid surface, you wouldn't feel much heavier than you do on Earth. But there's more to this story when we consider the atmospheric pressure. Saturn's atmospheric pressure is nothing to take lightly. As you go deeper into the planet's atmosphere, the pressure increases dramatically. It becomes so intense that it would crush any spacecraft, let alone a human, like a tin can. Imagine diving deep into Earth's oceans and feeling the water's pressure build up around you. On Saturn, this pressure is many times more intense, enough to compress and destroy anything in its path. To visualize this, think of the pressure you feel when diving to the bottom of a swimming pool. Now multiply that feeling thousands of times over. That's the kind of crushing force we're talking about on Saturn. It's a harsh reminder of the extreme and hostile conditions that exist on this gas giant, far beyond what we experience on Earth. Transitioning from the intense pressure, let's consider Saturn's surface, or rather, the lack of one. Unlike Earth with its distinct land and water, Saturn doesn't have a solid surface to land on. What we have instead is a gradual transition from the thick atmosphere into the deeper layers of the planet. As you move towards the center, gases become denser and hotter, eventually reaching what scientists believe could be the core. Now, about Saturn's core, it remains a topic of much speculation and interest among scientists. They theorize that at the heart of this gas giant lies a core made of rock and ice mixed with other heavy elements. This core is shrouded in mystery, primarily because we can't directly observe it. It's thought to be incredibly hot and under unimaginable pressure, quite different from anything on Earth. Imagine if we tried to send a spacecraft or a human to land on Saturn. It's a scenario straight out of science fiction. As they descend, they would first encounter the thick clouds, then get buffeted by the extreme winds, and eventually get crushed by the enormous pressure long before reaching the mysterious core. It's a journey that would offer a dramatic and awe-inspiring insight into the planet, but one that is currently far beyond our capabilities. Saturn, in all its majestic beauty, remains a place of wonder, yet unreachable and hostile to our explorations. From the challenges we've discussed, let's now stretch our imagination with some hypothetical scenarios. Imagine for a moment if we could attempt to walk on Saturn. Scientists envision using advanced, pressure-resistant suits, not unlike deep-sea diving gear but far more sophisticated. These suits would have to withstand not just the immense pressure, but also the extreme cold and violent winds. It's a venture that seems straight out of a sci-fi movie, offering a glimpse into a future where technology might just allow us to withstand the harsh conditions of gas giants. Turning to reality, there have been missions to Saturn, like the famous Cassini-Huygens mission. These missions aim to study the planet's rings, moons, and atmosphere, offering invaluable insights into its composition and weather patterns. Future missions could focus on sending more advanced probes into Saturn's atmosphere, perhaps even to float in the upper layers and study the planet's weather and chemical makeup. Now, envision a future where exploring gas giants isn't just a fantasy. Scientists are already discussing possibilities like floating research stations, drifting in the upper layers of Saturn's atmosphere. These stations could study the planet up close for extended periods, revolutionizing our understanding of gas giants and their role in our solar system. While walking on this gas giant remains a dream for now, the future holds endless possibilities for exploration and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this journey through the mysteries of Saturn. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know what other cosmic wonders you'd like us to explore next.